Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So it has been a long time since my last Legends Rewritten video. Anyways, there was a pretty massive update to the game a couple of days ago, so today we're going to go over everything new. So there is a new boss, there's 2 new blessings, a couple of new weapons within the shop, and then of course a bunch of new gear dropped from the new boss. And the new boss is Meliodas from 7 Deadly Sins, and basically this whole update is themed around that show. So we're going to go over the 2 new blessings first. First, we're going to go over the Demon Assault Mode blessing. So I will be honest, I do not have the counter blade, which is one thing that makes this blessing even stronger, but it is still good to show off without it. Once I get that blade, I'll show this blessing off again in a future video. So out of the 2 new blessings, I will say the Demon Assault Mode is not quite as good as Escanor's Sunshine. However, it is still pretty good, so I do want to show it off. Anyways, it gives you a pretty powerful melee attack. As you can see, it does about 45 to 60 damage. And then what it also does is give you the 1000 Divine Cuts ability, which is going to be your V, which does do a pretty large amount of magic damage. If you actually have the counter blade equipped, your M1 will change into a dash attack. So with that, of course, it is going to be quite a bit stronger, but again, once I actually get that, I'll show it off in a future video. Now let's talk about the other blessing. The other blessing is Sunshine, which in my opinion is the new most powerful blessing in this game. So much like the show Escanor's ability, the closer it gets to noon, the more powerful the character gets, and in the game, the closer it gets to be noon within the game time, the stronger you will get, and you get substantially stronger. So starting at around 9 o'clock-ish, you start to get a little bit larger, and you get larger and larger and larger until about 11:30 or 12, where your character starts to glow. So besides the effect where the closer to noon, the more damage you do, you also get a pretty decently powerful magic attack with it that does do a bunch of burning damage. Now, you're not going to really be using this blessing for the set attack, it just is a nice little bonus added to it. Now let's get into the new armor, the new weapons, and the new stuff that's been added like that. So before this update, there was only one magic staff in the entire game, and that was of course the Crimson Staff, which everybody knows is incredibly overpowered. So they did add 2 new staffs to the shop for 15,000 gold that are a little bit weaker, but still pretty good if you're early on in the game. So one of them is going to be the Fire Staff, and then the other one is going to be the Water Staff. So each of these do magic damage and of course use mana to use. You can basically constantly hold them down and do a constant amount of magic damage. And overall, they're not too weak, but they're really not too strong either. And one thing I have noticed while testing these out is that sometimes they don't do any damage at all. As you can see here, I am focusing on one enemy and is literally just doing nothing. The Fire Staff does a very similar attack, except it's just fire instead of water. You just constantly hold it on an enemy and it just does some burning damage over time. As you can see, sometimes it literally just does nothing. I'm not sure why this is, but do keep that in mind when using them. Now, another thing that was added to the game, which unfortunately I do not have, I used to have this, but I sold it off forever ago because I never thought it would be good, is the Sunshine Rita Axe. So you used to be able to buy this in the shop for some amount of gold, I forgot what it was. Anyways, it was buffed quite a bit, and it now has a pretty good ability. Comment down below if I'm wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure it can now summon basically Escanor's big sun explosion attack from the show, and it does a bunch of damage to any enemies within its radius. Comment down below if I'm wrong about this, but I have seen some people using this, and I'm pretty sure the big sun attack comes from that. Anyways, the Meliodas boss himself does have a bunch of drops, so he does have the Spirit Spear. So if you guys have watched the show, then you probably know the Spirit Spear from King. Anyways, this is a new ranged weapon and one of the best weapons in the game easily. What it does is it just does a ton of damage, and it has 3 different combo attacks. Now, it is a ranged weapon, but you do actually have to be pretty close to the enemy when using this. You get up in the enemy's face, just spam click. The first attack is going to be a basic spear launch, the second attack is going to be the kunai, and then the third attack is going to be the unlocked true form of it. And then it also has a magic attack, which is the Sunflower, and this does a ton of damage. Overall, I recommend pretty much everybody goes for the Spirit Spear. The only downside of it is that it is a level 70 ranged weapon, so you do have to level up your range a lot in order to use it, but it is worth it, and it is definitely the best ranged weapon in the game right now, in my opinion. It's not super long ranged, but it does do a tremendous amount of damage in an enemy face. So the other new weapon that is from Meliodas is going to be the Counter Blade. I do not have this one, but still I want to talk about it. Basically, its special is known as the Revenge counter. Once this spec is activated, all the damage you will take will be reflected back at 2 times like stronger, and it'll do a lot more damage, and then your health will be restored to what it was before using the special. From what I've heard, this is a pretty powerful weapon, although it is a bit risky to use because you must take damage in order for it to be effective, so it can really backfire in your face if you are not using it correctly. Anyways guys, before I hop into the armor, this is what the sunshine effect looks like at maximum noon. It makes your character absolutely massive and you just do a ton more damage overall. Anyways, the last few new things that were added in this update, 1 is shields, and then 2 is this new armor set. So the new armor set is going to be the Nanatsu. I only have the plate, but you can kind of get an idea what all the gear levels are going to be like. It is basically like a better version of the Frost Plate armor from the Frost Dragon. It is pretty powerful overall, but it's not going to be better than Starforge, it's not going to be better than Zokius. Really only go for this if you have nothing else. It does require level 60 defense, but in reality is not the best. 515 HP and 75 mana is good HP wise, but really the mana is pretty low. Now let's talk about the Meliodus boss fight himself. So this, in my opinion, is going to be one of the hardest open world boss fights in the game. It's like right next to Broly in terms of difficulty. So where he spawns is on the big floating island that has some massive waterfall falling off of it. And much like Broly, you have to lower his health down to 9,000 HP in order for the world boss message to actually pop up. So what he's gonna do is absolutely spam you with attacks. One thing he does is spawn in a bunch of clones. Once he goes into assault mode, he does a bunch more damage. And he is a pretty difficult boss fight all around. One thing you can do, which I didn't do in the footage because I want to get up in his face so you guys can see what he does, is you can stand on the trees above him and do long range magic attacks so you avoid all the damage that he will be doing to you. This is definitely a pretty difficult boss fight, so I would not do it at an early level. He is level 120 and you do need to have quite a bit of health in order to survive, and really your main struggle is going to be mana. And here you do go through a lot of mana because he does seem to be very tanky and have a lot of health, although he is definitely worth farming because his new drops are very powerful. So the very last new thing that was added in this update is gonna be shields. So I'm not quite sure where shields are dropped in the world, but you can buy a rune shield from the shop itself. So what shields do is make it to where you can more easily get defense XP and stuff like that, and then it is gonna be of course one of your one-handed. So the downside of using a shield is you cannot use two-handed weapons, you cannot use Sakura, you cannot use stuff like that. Using a shield will make you lose less stamina and gain more defense XP while blocking. However, I do not think the shields are that good in this game. Overall, only use them if you're trying to get a lot of defense XP because it makes it to where you can't use two-handed weapons or two one-handed weapons. Anyways guys, that is pretty much everything new that was added to this game. Once I get the counterblade and a couple of the other new items, I will make a video going over them of course. Let me know down below if there's anything I missed. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!